Good morning, everyone. And first thing, Harriet, can you hear me?
You're on mute.
All righty. Oh, huh? You can?
I can hear you, Judge.
Okay. Harriet's got to hear me. That's who's got to hear me. If Harriet doesn't hear me, we can't do anything. So I thought you said I was on mute, but I don't. But I've heard you, Harriet. So, and everyone else can hear me.
I still can't hear you guys.
Really?
Let me see. I got to turn up the volume.
I can hear you, Judge.
Okay, I can hear you now. There's a
Okay.
new. They had me on mute.
No. Okay. One thing before we get really started here, I'm going to apologize. My camera that I have on my big monitor is not working. So my camera is right here on my laptop, but my big monitor where I can see everyone much clearly is over here. So I apologize. I'm a little bit askew from where I'm looking at today. So, but if Harriet's here and we're all set, then it's 9 o'clock. So we shall get going. We should go on the record here with proceeding number 24G-0297TO, Colorado Public Utilities Commission versus Sheena Fernandez doing business as Hooked and Book Towing. I'm Minister of Law Judge Robert Garvey. Today is the 10th of October at approximately 9:01 a.m. This proceeding comes on for a evidentiary hearing. And I'm going to start with appearances. And I believe I have someone named Joe up there, and I'm going to guess you are Mr. Fernandez. If you can unmute yourself and that's not Mr. Fernandez.
That's a staff witness, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Oops. All right. Okay. Because I will state that I know that we've had some contact with my legal assistants had contact and actually got an email from Mr. Fernandez today. So inquiring. That's why I was assuming that Joe was because I believe if my memory serves correctly that it's Joe. Oh, it's Juan Fernandez. Sorry, but you never know. But that being the case here, that will start with appearances and I'll start with staff.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Attorneys General Aileen Chong and Jennifer Hayden with the Colorado Department of Law, appearing on behalf of PUC staff. With me is staff witness investigator Joseph Potts.
All right. Good morning to all three of you. And I just went through that nice rambling.
Judge, I'm sorry. It looks like someone has joined via phone just now. Just letting you know in case you didn't see that.
I'm gonna say maybe I don't have everybody on the screen. Okay, there's is that Mr. Fernandez or Ms. Fernandez? It's joined via the phone.
If you need to unmute using the phone and don't know how to, you can dial *6.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so is this Juan Fernandez?
Yes, this is.
All right. And Mr. Fernandez, you're here representing Hooked and Book Towing, or Sheena Fernandez doing business as Hooked and Book Towing. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's my wife.
Okay, that's your wife. Is your wife present?
She's a little occupied at this time. I was the one that got served, so I was imagining if I was able to get served, then I can, put my side of the story or what's going on in our defense.
Well, I'm not really quite sure how your business operations work. Ms. Hayden or Ms. Chong, why don't you tell me if you believe we can go forward with Mr. Fernandez here, or if we need Ms. Fernandez?
Your Honor, it is our understanding that Ms. Sheena Fernandez is the designated agent of Hooked and Booked. So to the extent that a representative of the company should be here, we do believe that Ms. Fernandez is the correct person to be here. It is our understanding, however, that Juan Fernandez is an employee of Hooked and Book Towing and does do business with Hooked and Book Towing. But as far as who the registered agent is, that is Ms. Sheena Fernandez, and she is who is named in this proceeding. So she would be the correct respondent to appear.
Okay, Mr. Fernandez, can your wife get here?
Yes, but so I'm not an actual employee. I never claimed to be an employee. I am just the husband of the owner, and they clearly said that I was a representative of the company. That's how I was able to get summons in the first place. So how are we not able to proceed? that were okay with me getting summoned, but they're not okay with me proceeding on the proceeding. I'm not sure how that
Well,
takes place.
let me explain to you. You're not, if I'm correct in reading what was filed, there's an affidavit from the sheriff's office, which states that you were served, the two of you were served together. And so actually, I mean, you were being served, it wasn't necessarily you that was being served, it was your wife being served. You were just happened to be there at the same time. She's the person that's listed as the agent for the company. And you are not an attorney. So, and as you said yourself, you're not an employee, you're kind of just a husband. And in that case, we kind of need her here. You understand?
Okay, that's fine. Give me one. It'll be just a second. We can. So do I have a few minutes to get her on the line?
Oh, well, how long will it take you?
A minute, 60 seconds.
Oh, it's fine. That's fine. Yeah. If you're talking about 3 hours, then I'd say, oh, we'll take a break, but just a minute. Yeah. Go right ahead.
No, that'll be
Yeah.
within just
Yeah.
a minute.
No problem. No problem.
Right.
We'll take a recess while we wait for you to come back on.
Yep, no problem.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, Ms. Fernandez.
Yes.
All right. This is Judge Garvey. How you doing today?
Yeah.
I'm doing okay, I think. All right. So this is the hearing. Ms. Chong is representing staff here from the Attorney General's office. And we're just getting started right now. Okay.
Okay.
And so what we got here, we got a hearing today on the CPAN and the civil penalty assessment that was given to you a couple months ago. So do you understand that, correct?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to tell you right now, you're representing yourself, and just I'm going to go over a few things with you before we get started on everything. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm a lawyer, so sometimes I use words that don't make sense, and sometimes I talk fast, which my court reporter will tell you. And so if there's anything I say or anything, feel free to stop me. Okay. I want to make sure you understand what's happening, why it's happening, and any other questions that you might have. Okay. So promise me you'll do that.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So we're having a hearing here today. The burden is going to be on the staff and to prove the allegations. I think at this moment we sit here, it's 12. It might be 11 in a few minutes, but it's 12 right now. And so they have the burden. It's by preponderance of the evidence. Okay. They're going to call witnesses, and they're going to ask questions of those witnesses. Any witnesses that they call, you can cross-examine. Okay. So you can ask questions. Realize, and it's a time for you to ask questions of that witness. It's not a time for you to testify. So, for instance, if they call a witness and Ms. Chong asks some questions of that witness, and I say, okay, Ms. Fernandez, you want to cross-examine? And you say, well, everything he said was wrong, and what I was doing that day, that's not asking questions, that's testifying. So you got to ask questions. You'll have time to testify. Don't worry about that. But that's time to do that. So do you understand that? That makes sense? Okay. So they'll present all their witnesses. They'll present any evidence they have. If they have documented evidence, they have to have that entered into the record of this case. So what Ms. Chong will do is she'll say, Your Honor, I'm moving to enter exhibit, whatever it's named, exhibit 1. I will then ask you, I will say, Ms. Fernandez, do you have any objection to that exhibit? If you have an objection, you state it. I will tell you that your objection cannot be, I don't like that. It hurts my case. I really don't think that should be there. Those are not good objections. But I will tell you that if you say, listen, if one of the documents that Ms. Chong is trying to get in is a picture of her high school graduation class, and Ms. Chong moves for admission of the picture of her high school graduation class, and you say, Your Honor, I'm going to object to that. That has nothing to do with what we're doing here today. I run a towing business. Why would she be doing that? That doesn't mean anything. I'm not going to hold you to knowing the word relevance, because that piece of that document would have no relevance. I'll take in what you say and try and figure out what you're saying, but it's going to have to be a legal basis. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So they'll do all their case, they'll do the whole thing, then you'll have your opportunity to present your case. Okay. And at that time, you can call any witnesses you have. You can testify yourself. If you testify yourself, it's just going to be, you basically tell me what you want to tell me. All of your witness and you yourself will be subject to cross-examination. So after you do that, Ms. Chong will be able to cross-examine as well. One other thing I forgot to mention before. So Ms. Chong will have a direct testimony from her witness. You'll be able to cross-examine. Then I might have some questions too. So any of the witnesses, I might have questions, and then Ms. Chong will have the ability to do what we call redirect, which is trying, if there's things that got kind of cloudy, she can try and straighten those things out. Same thing you can do when you have your witnesses or when you testify. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So at the end of the day there, we'll finish that. There might be, I'll ask if they have any rebuttal case that they want to put on. They might want to put a rebuttal case on, but it have to be based upon things that happened in the hearing. When that's all done, we'll be done. And I will tell you that I will not make a decision at the end of the hearing today. I'll take this matter under advisement, and then I'll issue out a decision within probably about 30 to 45 days. So that we don't make decisions from the bench, and I have to make everything as a written decision. So is that anything I say doesn't make sense, or you want me to explain it a little further or anything like that?
No.
Okay, you're right. Do you have a camera on your phone? Let me ask you that real quick.
No.
You don't? Okay. All right. Well, we'll do it by if you're just on the phone. That's okay. There's no problem with that. But let's see.
Yeah, my camera is broken.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. I was just going to see. Oh, that could be an issue. Yeah. Can you, are you able to see? Are you able to see?
No, I can't see.
So you're just using the phone there.
Blank.
Okay. Okay. Is there any
We
way that you,
called.
huh? Do you have a computer of any type?
No.
Hmm. See, the problem we're gonna have, well, I'm gonna ask a question, which I know I'm gonna know the answer to, but Ms. Chung, I'm assuming you're gonna have some exhibits that you're gonna have displayed. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor. And staff did email as a courtesy all the exhibits to
Okay.
the respondents yesterday. So I don't know if they can follow along that way, but they do have access to the exhibits.
Okay. Do you guys have those?
Can you give me a couple minutes to see?
Yeah, sure. And I apologize, Ms. Fernandez. This day and age, I assume everyone's got a picture on their phone. Even an old person like me does not have a landline anymore.
Quick question. You said
Sure.
that it was like 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Are they in another time zone? Or did you just get the time? I thought it was like 9:30.
Did I say 12?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I'm,
I was just checking.
I'm,
They're not in a different time zone in any case.
no, I'm probably just losing my mind, Harriet, you know.
It's all right. Your explanations can get kind of convoluted. I understand about the procedure.
Hey, Ms. Fernandez, you still there? Yeah, and you don't, obviously,
Yes, I'm here.
um, do you have a smartphone? Is it a smartphone that you have?
So she's on a smartphone, but it's the camera doesn't work. I'm trying to get her the exhibits to her in just a second.
Yeah,
That was
okay.
sent to me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you can get those, that'd be great. The other thing you
Yeah,
might
like,
want
it's
to,
just, we're trying to get them on another device, so it'll be just a second. I anticipate a minute or two at the
That's
very
fine.
most, and she will have those exhibits to follow along with.
okay, well, and I'm just going to give you another option. My legal assistant, who's very much smarter than I am, suggested maybe that you could download the Zoom app onto if it's a smartphone. There's an app that Zoom has. So if you can't find them or you're not able to do that, that's option number 2.
We'll explore that in just a second. Thank you.
Okay, sure, no problem.
I would just like to let you know that I am trying to download the Zoom. We're going to the second step right away, so we don't have to do the first one and uncomplete it or unsuccessful. So we're downloading the Zoom app on our device that she should be able to attend and see the exhibits.
All right,
So it'll be
great.
just a few minutes on that. Just
Great.
wanted to let you know.
No, I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. Okay, I think we might have something here. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Fernandez, I think you're on here with the app, but you're muted if you're trying to talk.
And on this app, it won't be the *6 to unmute. You'll have to tap the little microphone on your screen on the app, I believe.
Hey,
That's
all right, I can hear you. So can you see us now?
correct.
Yes.
All right. All right. How about modern technology? Okay. And Harriet, I don't think I actually said we were off the record, but hopefully we were. We'll go back on the record now. Okay. So we got you on here. Ms. Fernandez is, so I'll just make sure that everything that I told you about before you understand makes sense, correct?
Yes.
All right. There is one piece of business we have to get taken care of before we get started. And that is that staff filed a motion to kind of combine two of the charges. I believe it's 4 and 5. If I'm correct, is that right? Correct, Ms. Strong?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. I gave you guys more time and I said I would, did you want to make any argument to not do that? Basically what it's going to do is take one of the charges away. I don't think you would be against that, Ms. Fernandez, but if you are, if there's anything you want to say to that, I'll let you speak now to that.
No.
Okay. I'm going to grant that motion then. And so I guess 5 is going to meld into 4. So it'll be charges 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That right, Ms.
Yes.
Strong?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else, anything I'm forgetting, Ms. Strong, that you think of that you want as a preliminary matter?
No other preliminary matters from staff.
Okay, Ms. Fernandez, I'm gonna give you one last chance here before we get started. Realize I can't tell you how to do your case or what you need to do, anything like that. Realize you don't have the burden in this case though either. So it's on staff to make their case. But I'll give you one last chance if there's any questions that you have before we get started. I'll tell you, it's about 9:30. One of the things I'll tell you, probably in about an hour to about 10:30, I'm going to take a break. For my court reporter, I have to take a break every so often and do that. But I think that's all I have. Ms. Fernandez, your last chance. Anything?
Can we motion to have this dismissed?
Well, you can have an oral motion to have this dismissed. You have to give me grounds for it, though.
The address is incorrect.
The address is incorrect on the summons.
Well, I tell you what you can do is put that as part of your defense, and I won't rule on that right now. If it's basis of the summons being incorrect or the CPAN being incorrect, you can try and bring that up into the hearing, and then I'll rule on that as a basis for it to be dismissed that way. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
And Your Honor, can we
No.
just confirm that Ms. Fernandez can see the screen and any exhibits that would be shared?
I believe she did say that, but
Okay,
we can
great.
double check. You
Thank
guys
you.
can see, you can see us now, right? You can see everything, correct? Yeah. So yeah, I was pretty sure we did that, but that's fine, Mr. Chung. I don't want I don't want there to be any question about it for sure. Okay. We'll get this started then. Ms. Chung, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Staff calls staff witness investigator Joseph Potts.
All right. Hey, Mr. Potts, if you raise your right hand for me. You swear affirm, tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth on a penalty of perjury.
I do.
All right, Ms. Chung, go right ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Investigator Potts. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Joseph Potts, Josephpotts.
Where are you employed?
The Colorado Public Utilities Commission.
How long have you been employed there?
It'll be 3 years next month.
What is your position?
Criminal investigator.
And what do the responsibilities of a criminal investigator entail?
We investigate complaints that are filed against some of the transportation companies or the transportation industries that we regulate.
Yep, Ms. Chung, we lost you. I can't hear you. Mr. Potts, can you hear Ms. Chung?
No, I cannot
Okay.
hear her.
Okay, just make sure it wasn't mine. It wasn't on my end. You were fine, and then it disappeared. Oh, say something again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just gonna ask that last question. And do you have any prior law enforcement experience?
Yes, I was the sheriff's deputy for 15 years prior to coming to the Public Utility Commission.
Thank you. And I now want to turn our attention to the case that we are here for today. How did you come to be assigned to this case that brings us to a hearing today?
A complaint had been filed against Hooked and Book Towing.
Okay. And who was that complaint filed by?
It was a gentleman by the name of Javier Esparza.
Okay. What did you learn from that initial complaint from Javier Esparza?
That he had parked his vehicle in front of a business where it was later subsequently towed. He performed his own research into the towing company, learned that the company did not have an active permit at the time to be towing vehicles.
And did he then file the complaint as a result of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Based on the sum of your investigation that we will go through, did you issue a CPAN?
Yes, I did.
If we can pull up what's been marked as staff's hearing exhibit number 100.
And I'll check real quickly. Ms. Fernandez, you can see this, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Investigator Potts, what is this?
This is the document, or a copy of the document that I had served.
Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, it is.
How are you familiar with this exhibit?
I am the one that produced it.
Okay. And are CPANs made as part of the regular practice of the PUC?
Yes, they are.
Are CPANs kept in the ordinary course of regularly conducted business by the PUC?
Yes, they are.
And if we can just scroll through the entire document really quick. Thank you. At this time, staff would move to admit what's been marked as staff's hearing exhibit number 100.
Okay, Ms. Fernandez, do you have any objection to hearing exhibit 100?
No.
All right, 100 shall be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And we can take this exhibit down. We'll refer back to it later. Investigator Potts, what steps did you take to investigate hooked and book towing and recovery?
I spoke with the complainant, and I also performed a search of the towing carrier's permit authority within our computer system.
And was that computer system IFM's?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you also look into their insurance?
Yes, I did.
Did you also look into their initial towing application?
Yes, I did.
And did you also receive the copy of the invoice from Mr. Esparza?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So I want to start with the IFM's entry. Can we pull up what's been marked as staff's hearing exhibit number 101? Thank you. And Investigator Potts, what is this?
This is the IFM's document from the computer system specific to the tow company.
And can you briefly explain what IFMS is?
It's a computer system that we use to record information about the company, such as address, phone number, designated agents, locations, things of that nature.
So you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
How are you familiar with this exhibit?
I am the one that pulled this from the system.
Are IFMS entries such as this one made as part of the regular practice of the PUC?
Yes, ma'am.
Are IFMS entries kept in the ordinary course of regularly conducted business by the PUC?
Yes, they are.
So you had mentioned that this is the particular entry for hooked and book towing, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you learn from this IFMS entry?
That their towing permit was revoked.
Okay. And if we can scroll down to page 3, please. Thank you. And right there is fine. Does this IFMS entry contain information about the designated agent?
Yes, it does.
Who is the designated agent in this case?
It would be a Sheena Fernandez.
And what is the address that's on file for this particular company?
3394 West 66th Avenue, number 3, Denver, Colorado, 80221.
And is there an email address as well?
Yes, there is.
And that's hooked and book towing. Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
hookedandbooktowing@gmail.com.
Okay. Does this IFMS also list a phone number?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And not on this particular page, but if we can.
Within the document, it does.
Okay. Was there a storage facility listed on this IFMS?
No, ma'am, there was not.
And does that suggest that the respondent in this case did not file or indicate that they had a storage facility that they used?
Correct. No storage facility was disclosed to the Public Utility Commission.
Okay. And was that the reason why you charged violation number 1 in the CPAN, which states that the address of a storage facility address was not on file with the commission?
That's correct.
Thank you. And if we can please scroll down to the bottom of the page 3. And Your Honor, I apologize. Before I go further, at this time, I'll move to admit staff's hearing exhibit number 101.
Fernandez, any objection to hearing exhibit 101?
No.
All right, 101 shall be admitted.
Thank you. Investigator Potts, are towing carriers required to file both Form E and Form H insurance in order to comply with the requirement to file evidence of financial responsibility with the PUC?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
When was the date of cancellation for respondent's Form H?
April 17th, 2024.
So the respondent did not have the insurance Form H on the date of offense on May 25th, 2024, correct?
That is correct.
And when was the date of cancellation for respondent's Form E?
I believe it was the same, April 17th, 2024.
Okay. And again, a respondent needs both Form E and Form H to comply with the insurance requirement for the commission, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. And if we can next pull up what's been marked as staff's hearing exhibit 104. Thank you. What is this, Investigator Potts?
This is a copy of the cancellation notice from the insurance carrier.
So do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
How are you familiar with this exhibit?
I am the one who pulled this from the system.
Are letters like these made as part of the regular practice of the PUC?
Yes, they are.
Are letters like these kept in the ordinary course of business conducted by the PUC?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, at this time, staff would move to admit staff's hearing exhibit number 104.
Fernandez, any objection to hearing exhibit 104?
No.
104 shall be admitted.
Thank you. And Investigator Potts, from this letter, on what date was Hooked Book's insurance set to be canceled?
April 17th, 2024.
And if we can scroll down a little on this document. When was this letter sent?
March 13th, 2024.
Investigator Potts, when insurance is set to expire, do towing carriers have an opportunity to correct the insurance issue before the PUC takes final action?
Yes, they do.
Did Hooked Booked have an opportunity to correct the insurance issue before PUC took final action?
Yes, they did.
Did Hooked Booked ever provide proof of insurance to you during your investigation?
No.
Did they ever provide it to the PUC?
No.
Was insurance ever filed with the PUC during the pendency of this case?
No.
And when is the last time you checked whether insurance was filed?
Yes, I did.
When was the last time that you checked?
Yesterday, as a matter of
And
fact.
what was the status of the insurance for Hooked Booked at that time?
There's no active insurance on file for the company.
So Hooked Booked is currently uninsured and continues to be uninsured.
Yes, ma'am.
And they were uninsured on the date of offense of May 25th, 2024.
That is correct.
Thank you. We can pull this down and pull up what's been marked as staff's hearing exhibit 102. Thank you. Investigator Potts, what is this?
This is a copy of the application for the towing permit.
Okay. And do people who are wanting to get a towing permit typically file applications?
Yes, they do.
Okay. So do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
How are you familiar with this exhibit?
I am the one that pulled this from the IFM system.
Are applications submitted as part of the regular practice of the PUC?
Yes, ma'am.
Are applications kept in the ordinary course of regularly conducted business by the PUC?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, at this time, staff would move to admit what's been marked as staff's hearing exhibit 102.
Ms. Fernandez, any objection to hearing exhibit 102?
No.
102 shall be admitted.
Thank you. Investigator Potts, when was this application filed?
January 31st, 2024.
Okay. And if we scroll down to the bottom of page 1, that's perfect. Does the application indicate whether Hooked Booked would provide storage?
Yes, that is located on this document.
Okay, and did they indicate whether they would provide storage?
They did, and they just said they were not providing storage.
Okay. Did Hooked Booked, in fact, have a storage facility that they utilized?
Yes, they did.
Was the address of that storage facility listed on the invoice?
Yes, ma'am.
Was the complainant charged for impound fees?
Yes, he was.
If a towing carrier says that they do not provide storage in their application, or if they do provide storage, are there any additional fees?
Yes, they have to have an additional insurance policy to cover, it's a garage keeper's policy to cover the storage of the vehicle.
Hey, Ms. Chong, I'm going to interrupt you for just a second.
Okay.
You said the storage facility was stated on the invoice, I believe. Have I seen the invoice yet?
Not yet. We will
Okay,
admit
okay.
that later on.
Okay, I wasn't sure where that was coming from. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Investigator Potts, in your experience, why wouldn't a towing carrier list that they utilize a storage facility on their application when they do in fact provide storage?
It saves them that added expense of having to pay for an additional policy.
Thank you. We can pull this down, and if we can next pull up what's been marked as staff's hearing exhibit number 103. What is this, Investigator Potts?
This is a copy of the respondent's business license.
And do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
How are you familiar with this exhibit?
I am the person that pulled this from the Secretary of State.
What did you learn from this Colorado SOS entry?
That Sheena Fernandez is the registered agent and the business license was expired.
Okay. And that mailing address, it says 3394 West 66th Avenue, 3 Westminster, Colorado 80221, correct?
That is correct.
And in the IFM's entry, the city is listed as Denver. Can you explain why there's a discrepancy with the Denver and Westminster?
They're right on the border of each other. I think once you cross one street over, it becomes a different city.
Okay.
One
And
may be a mailing address, but it's technically another city.
Okay. And these addresses are addresses that the respondent inputs themselves, right?
That is correct.
Okay. We can pull this exhibit down, please. So Investigator Potts, what is the status of Hooked Book's towing permit?
It is currently revoked.
What was the status of Hooked Book's permit on the date of offense, May 25th, 2024?
It was revoked.
Thank you. Next, Investigator Potts, did you personally have a follow-up conversation with the complainant, Mr. Javier Esparza?
Yes, ma'am.
In addition to the initial complaint, what did you learn from Mr. Esparza directly?
Mr. Esparza told me that after his vehicle was towed, he went to the respondent's tow yard the following day. And well, as he was going through the release process to get his vehicle back, the towing staff encouraged him to file a claim with his insurance policy, as they said the invoice was filled out in such fashion the insurance, his insurance company would most likely pay the bill. He told me that he chose just to pay it himself and ended up filing a complaint with the commission.
And you had testified earlier that you also received an invoice from Mr. Esparza, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we please pull up what's been marked as staff's hearing exhibit number 105? Thank you. Investigator Potts, what is this?
This is the invoice that Mr. Esparza provided me with.
So do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
How are you familiar with this exhibit?
This is the document that I received and I saved to my case file.
Thank you. The date on the top left corner indicates that it was May 25th, 2024, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who is the driver of this tow?
Juan.
And in the middle of the invoice on top, under Hooked Book Towing's phone number, whose name appears there?
Juan.
Thank you. So I want to go through a number of issues that you found with this invoice. So I want to start with the unique serial number. What issues did you see with this invoice as it has to do with a unique serial number?
These non-consensual tows, the invoices are required to have a unique serial number for each invoice.
And do you see one on this invoice?
No, ma'am.
And is that the reason why you charged violation number 2 in the CPAN?
That is correct.
Next, can you tell us about any issues you saw with the address of the storage facility on the invoice?
That address is not on file with the commission as a storage facility.
And specifically, which address are you looking at?
The tow 2 address of 6265 West 52nd.
Okay, and that address didn't appear in the IFM's entry or any other towing application, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And is that the reason why you charged violation number 3 in the CPAN?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, can you tell us about any issues with the date and time of the completion of the tow?
That item is also required to be printed on these invoices, and it was not here.
Okay. And same with the date and time that the vehicle was released from storage?
Correct, same answer.
Okay. So neither the date and time of the completion of the tow nor the date and time the vehicle was released from the storage was listed on this invoice.
That is correct.
And is that the reason why you charged violation number 4 in the CPAN?
Yes, ma'am.
Great, thank you. And Your Honor, before I go any further, I apologize I missed this. We moved to admit staff's hearing exhibit number 105.
Ms. Fernandez, any objection to hearing exhibit 105?
No.
All right, 105 shall be admitted. And Ms. Chong, I'll tell you what, you also didn't ask for 103, but I was going to remind you that at the end if you wanted that in.
I apologize about that, Your Honor.
Do you move for 103 to be admitted?
Yes, we do.
Okay, Ms. Fernandez, is there any objection to hearing exhibit 103 being admitted?
No.
All right, 103 also shall be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Investigator Potts, can you tell us about any issues with this invoice as it has to do with the date and time notice was given to the appropriate law enforcement agency?
That is required to be printed on the invoice, and in this case, it was not present on the invoice.
So to your understanding, were you ever able to check whether law enforcement was notified of this tow?
I was not.
Okay. And is that because there was no information about law enforcement contact?
That's correct.
Is a tow operator required by the rules to notify law enforcement of a tow?
Yes, they are.
And is this lack of the date and time notice was given to the appropriate law enforcement agency the reason why you charged, another reason why you charged violation number 4 in the CPAN?
That's correct.
And why is it important for tow operators to notify law enforcement of non-consensual tows?
It advises the law enforcement agency so that in the case where the vehicle owner calls to report their vehicle is stolen, they are able to, one, not take a motor vehicle theft report, and also provide the vehicle owner with the name and address and phone number of the tow company that has their vehicle.
Okay, thank you. Next, I'd like to turn to the VIN number. What was the issue with the listed VIN number?
The VIN number in this case uses the $ as a character for the VIN number, which is not a valid VIN character.
Do VIN numbers ever contain symbols?
No, they do not.
Why is it important to document the correct VIN number?
The VIN number would then be provided to the Department of Revenue by the tow carrier as part of the statutory search notification requirement, so that the tow carrier can obtain records for the owner and lien holder of the vehicle. If this VIN number is not correct, they are not going to receive proper ownership information, and therefore would not be able to notify the proper person that they have towed and impounded their vehicle. If this vehicle remains at the tow yard for more than 30 days, it then can be considered an abandoned vehicle. It can then become property of the tow carrier as they can retitle or sell the vehicle.
So what does it indicate to you that this VIN number was copied down incorrectly with a symbol that's never seen in any VIN numbers?
That it was purposely deceptive in order to return false information from the Department of Revenue.
Thank you. And is the VIN number being incorrect the reason why you charged violation number 6 in the CPAN?
That is correct.
Thank you. Next, what issues did you see with regards to the unit number or license plate number of the tow truck?
That information is required to be printed on the invoice, and in this case, it was not there.
Okay. And is that why you charged violation number 7 in the CPAN?
That is correct.
And going back to law enforcement, what issues did you see with this invoice as it has to do with the case number or any other identifiable entry provided by law enforcement?
The case number and the date and time law enforcement is notified is required to be printed on the invoice, and again, it was not there.
Okay. And could this be due to the fact that the tow was never reported to law enforcement?
That is correct.
Okay. And was this a reason why you charged violation number 8 in the CPAN?
That is correct.
Next, if we can scroll down to the bottom half of this document. What issues did you see as it relates to improper fees or charges?
There's only certain fees that can be charged in a non-consensual tow from private property. And in this case, a labor charge of $75 and a surcharge of $100 are added to inflate this bill. Those are non-authorized fees that a tow carrier cannot charge somebody when they non-consensually tow the vehicle.
Thank you. And was this $75 labor fee and $100 surcharge the reason for why you charged violation number 10 in the CPAN?
That's correct.
Thank you. And we can take this exhibit down. Next, Investigator Potts, what steps did you take in your investigation with the listed phone number on the invoice?
I performed a reverse phone search of the phone number printed on the invoice, which produced phone records for Juan Fernandez. I then performed a marriage and civil union search with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, where I was able to obtain records indicating that both Juan and Sheena Fernandez are legally married as of 2017.
So going back to the reverse phone search, we'll come back to the marriage conversation. Did the platform that you used to conduct that reverse phone search indicate that Sheena Fernandez was potentially related to Juan Fernandez?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So that phone number, 720-476-1070, that was listed on the invoice, brought back all this information about Juan Fernandez and Sheena Fernandez.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why was it important to learn the relationship, learn about the relationship between Juan Fernandez and Sheena Fernandez?
We wanted to see who was running the tow company, and once we determined that a CPAN was going to be issued, we needed to know who we could serve.
Can we pull up what's been marked as Staff's Hearing Exhibit 106? What is this, Investigator Potts?
This is the marriage and civil union documentation I received from the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment.
So you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
How are you familiar with this exhibit?
I am the one who pulled this from their system.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, staff would move to admit what's been marked as Staff's Hearing Exhibit 106.
Ms. Fernandez, any objection to hearing exhibit 106?
No.
106 shall be admitted.
We can scroll down to the bottom of the last page. So what is a relationship between Juan Fernandez and Sheena Fernandez?
They are married.
And we can pull this exhibit down, please. Based on your investigation, what are the responsibilities of Juan Fernandez and Sheena Fernandez as it relates to Hooked and Booked?
Well, to my understanding, Sheena is the designated agent. So she is the person that may be running the tow company, but she's also the person in which is identified as somebody we would contact in situations where complaints have been filed against the company. I believe Juan to be an employee of the company because he's identified as the tow truck driver.
So besides being named as a registered agent, is there any indication that Sheena Fernandez tows vehicles?
No, there's not.
In fact, the name of the driver on that invoice was Juan, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any indication that Sheena Fernandez operates a tow truck?
No, there's not.
Any indication that she fields calls for towing?
Not that I'm aware of.
And you testified that the number on the invoice goes to Juan, correct?
That is correct.
So is the number listed on that invoice Juan Fernandez's number?
Yes, ma'am.
If Juan Fernandez were to apply for a permit, would he qualify for one?
No, ma'am, he would not.
Has Juan Fernandez applied for a towing permit since the filing of the CPAN?
Yes, he has.
Can you expound on those occasions?
I know of at least 2 occasions in which a permit application has been received by him. The first one has been denied. The second one was received very recently, and I believe we have not yet been able to review the full application. But,
And
but we will.
with regards to the first application, why was it denied?
Juan has several active pending felony cases.
Okay. Were there any other reasons for its denial?
His involvement in this particular case, we needed to make sure this was taken care of before we could proceed.
Thank you. Investigator Potts, going back to the CPAN, how was the CPAN served on Hooked and Book Towing or Sheena Fernandez?
It was served personally.
Okay. And did you enlist somebody to serve it personally?
Yes, I did.
Who?
I contacted the Adams County Sheriff's Office and asked them to serve the document for me.
Why did you enlist Adams County Sheriff's Office to serve the CPAN?
The Public Utility Commission has received a number of complaints regarding Juan Fernandez and his tow company, and we were made aware of his potentially aggressive and hostile behavior and asked that the Sheriff's Office serve them for us for safety reasons.
And is that part of your regular practice that if you're feeling unsafe that you will enlist the Sheriff's Office to serve CPANs personally?
That is correct.
Okay. Where did you obtain the address to pass along to Adams County Sheriff's Office to make personal service?
It came from our IFM system as well as off the invoice.
And what location did they actually go to personally serve Sheena Fernandez?
The respondent's tow yard.
Okay. And is that the 6265 West 52nd Avenue in Arvada, Colorado?
Yes, ma'am.
Did Adams County Sheriff's Office find Sheena Fernandez and Juan Fernandez at this address?
Yes, they did.
Did respondent Sheena Fernandez sign the CPAN to accept service?
No, she did not.
Did they refuse to sign?
I don't believe they made it that far.
Okay.
To put it frankly.
Was proof of service captured on body-worn camera footage?
Yes, it was.
Did you obtain this body-worn camera footage from the officers that you enlisted to personally serve Sheena Fernandez?
Yes, I did.
Can we pull up what's been marked as staff's hearing exhibit number 107?
Yes, and that's the video, right?
Correct.
It just might take a little bit longer to load since it's a video. And let me know if you can't hear anything once I start playing it.
Okay, no problem. Once we see the first screen there, I'll lay some foundation.
Can I
Let
ask
me
a
know when
quick,
you're
sorry, can I ask a quick question? You said you got that information for the sheriff off of, I thought you said IFM's in some sort of list. What kind of, yeah, list?
IFMs and the invoice.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Got it.
and I was just gonna say, let me know when you want me to hit play.
Okay, so not yet. Investigator Potts, do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
This is the body-worn camera footage from the deputy that served the paperwork.
How are you familiar with this exhibit?
I requested a copy of this video and received it.
And did you personally watch it as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, staff would move to admit and publish staff's hearing exhibit number 107.
Ms. Fernandez, is there any objection to the admission of 107 and the publication of 107?
No.
All right, 107 shall be admitted and you may publish.
Throws it out the window. Sir. You're a piece of fucking shit, dude.
You've been served.
You're a fucking piece of shit. Are you
You've
serious?
been served. Yeah, you've been served.
Fucking piece of shit.
You've been served.
Fuck you,
Get away
piece
from
of
my
shit.
car.
Or what?
Back up.
Pull your gun. Pull your fucking gun. Pull your gun. You're just gonna fucking pull it. Pull your fucking gun. Yeah.
William 34 will be in contact with the party.
Fucking bullshit. You're pathetic.
Both of you have been served.
You're
right
fucking pathetic. Do something.
Get the fuck out of here.
There's nothing to do.
Yeah, there's nothing to do because you got pieces of fucking shit.
That's
Why
all
are
I
you
was
sitting
here
outside
for.
my fucking business? Why?
Because I need to
Because
get
you're a piece of shit. Motherfuckers.
You go ahead and step back.
Or what? So you're on my property. What do you mean step back? You step off of there. You're trespassing.
Okay.
How about that? You're trespassing.
Step back so I can leave.
You're trespassing.
Step back so I can leave.
What are you gonna do? Get out of here. You're trespassing. You're trespassing.
Sir, for what? We didn't do nothing wrong. We don't live in Adams County.
All right, that's
Fucking
fine.
pieces of shit.
Right on.
Don't
You've been
fucking
served.
right on, you pieces of shit.
Have a good day.
Douchebag.
You've been served, Juan, and have a good day.
You've been served one. Fucking pussy.
Have fun, Juan.
Yeah, what, bitch?
Okay.
Have fun.
You're the one who called and said you were scared for your life.
Did you really just get stuck?
No, I just put it in. Oh, he's gonna block us.
Is he really parked behind us?
Hey, this ain't your county.
All right, then move so we can leave. All right, then move so we can leave. Oh, yeah, it's called drop serve. He's in serve. All right, you need to move so we can leave. Fucking hit me.
Am I gonna mess you guys up if I go along this a little bit?
I'll tell you when to stop.
Thank you guys.
Take care, Juan. Have fun in court.
You're not in Adams County.
Okay, but you can't just block us in.
You can't detain us.
If you prevent us from leaving, we will take you to jail.
Hey, it's free.
That's all. I'm just warning you now.
He almost wrecked into them.
I would have laughed pretty hard. Can you start Arvada for a wreck?
All right.
All right. Got him served.
Served.
Thank you. We can take this exhibit down. Investigator Potts, how were officers able to identify that they had Juan Fernandez and Sheena Fernandez?
They were able to pull up their photographs through their database and able to positively identify them from those phones.
And you had kind of alluded to this earlier, but safe to say that they were unable to get a signature from Sheena Fernandez to accept service of the CPAN?
That's correct.
Was thrown at her.
It's just thrown at you.
Mr. Fernandez, Mr. Fernandez, you'll have time to talk later, okay? But for right now, it's Ms. Chong's time and Mr. Potts' time, right?
Thank you. Investigator Potts, what did you observe in this video as it has to do with the location that they're at?
They were served at their tow yard.
Okay. And you saw cars parked around in that video?
That's correct.
Okay.
Same address as the destination address on the invoice.
Okay. And did you also hear Mr. Fernandez state that that location was my fucking business, quote?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And Investigator Potts, did you personally travel to the location where the tow occurred?
Yes, I did.
What did you observe when you got there?
I observed this to be a strip of businesses that were mostly related to automotive repair. And at the very end was a bar, presumably the same business that the complainant was patronizing that evening when his vehicle was towed from the area where the auto shop areas are. In the auto shop areas, I noticed several signs belonging to the respondent advising of the towing consequences and advertising for the business in front of those shops.
If we can please pull up what's been marked as staff's hearing exhibit 108. Is this the signage that you were referring to?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you take this picture yourself personally?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
So you are familiar with this exhibit?
Yes, I am.
Your Honor, at this time, staff would move to admit exhibit 108.
Ms. Fernandez, is there any objection to hearing exhibit 108?
No.
108 shall be admitted.
And can you read for us what this sign says, Ms. Investigator Potts?
Sure. Private parking only. Unauthorized vehicles will be towed at the vehicle owner's expense. Booked in book time. 720-476-1070.
So that number at the bottom, does that match the number that was on the invoice?
Yes, it does.
And is that the same number that when you performed a reverse phone search led back to Juan Fernandez?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. We can pull this exhibit down. Investigator Potts, has Hooked and Booked had its permit authority revoked in the past?
Yes, it has.
Can you tell us about those times?
There were two separate occasions. I don't recall the dates off the top of my head, but I believe one occasion was in 2021 and another was in 2023.
Okay. Has there been any other complaints against Juan Fernandez and Hooked and Booked Towing?
Yes, ma'am.
And what were the contents of those complaints?
The Public Utility Commission continues to receive complaints from the Adams County Sheriff's Office involving Juan Fernandez and his tow company at this very same location, involving the tows of the vehicles. We've also received complaints that the respondent is now booting vehicles and threatening to raise the prices to lease a boot from a vehicle threefold if law enforcement is contacted or somebody files a complaint against this company.
Has the PUC taken action with these complaints?
Not yet.
Okay. And Investigator Potts, what are your recommendations for today in this hearing?
First and foremost, I would ask that the full amount of the penalty be imposed. I'd ask that a refund of $440 be issued to Juan Esparza. I would ask that the respondent be ordered to remove all his towing signage that's posted throughout the city. And finally, I would like to ask that a cease and desist order be added to the decision letter due to these continued reports that we have been receiving of the company continuing to operate without a permit from the commission.
Thank you, Investigator Potts, and no further questions from staff.
Okay, I tell you what, it's about 10:10, which is a little bit early for a break. Ms. Fernandez, are you going to ask any questions of Investigator Potts?
Yes.
Okay, I tell you what, why don't we take a break right now, and then we can, otherwise I'm going to have you start. I don't know how long you go, but we go 5 or 10 minutes or so, and then we'd have to take a break. So why don't we take a 15-minute break right now until 10:25, and I give my court reporter a little break. And then we can start in the cross-examination of Investigator Potts, okay? So we'll be in recess until 10:25.
Thank you.
No.
All right, Harriet, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, we shall go back on the record then with proceeding number 24G-0297TO. Mr. Potts, I will remind you that you are still under oath. And Ms. Fernandez, you may begin any cross-examination of investigator pods that you want. All right. Ms. Fernandez?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay, exhibit 100. Hold up.
Casey, can you bring up 100?
Yes, sorry, it was freezing on me. Give me a second.
No problem.
Is there somebody who has the machine going on in the background? Because it's really hard to hear. I'm hearing some sort of machine. Am I the only one?
No, I'm hearing it too, Harriet.
I wondered if somebody could make that go away.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna look who's open. So it's probably either me, and I don't think it's me, or Investigator Potts. If you have something going on there, that could be it.
The fan just turned on my computer, so
Okay.
hopefully it'll turn off here in just a second once it cools down.
Okay.
That's a loud thing. I thought it was a vacuum cleaner.
Okay, investigator pods, what is the location of violation on the summons?
Investigator Potts, you hear that question?
Yes, I did. The address for the violation is 6303 North Federal Boulevard.
Do you know where that address came from?
I believe that is from the invoice.
Pull up exhibit 105. No invoice. Scroll down. What is the list of location of tow?
It is located near the top of your invoice on the tow from 6303 North Federal Boulevard.
Correct. 6603. Read it again.
It's incorrect. Read it again. It's incorrect.
Well, let's zoom in. Looks like 6603 North Federal Boulevard.
Where do we come up with 6303?
So where's 6303 Federal Boulevard?
Why was that put on there?
And why was that put on there?
Maybe a
It was
typo.
on
Exhibit 100.
exhibit 100, please. The address is wrong.
On all locations on 1 through 12.
On 1 through 12, all locations,
of
the
violations
address of violations, the address is incorrect
and made up false.
and made up false. There's no address of 6303. 6303 is not even a physical address. It's
Wait.
made up. 15 years
With
of
15 years
with
of law-
15 years of law enforcement and 3 years of peace.
I'm going to
PUC
object to
investigator.
testifying, Your Honor. I don't believe I heard a question.
What I'm waiting to the end of this one. I'm waiting. I think the question is building right here, but I'll let it go for a second here. Ms. Fernandez, go ahead.
Okay, if you have 15 years of experience in your PUC investigator, why did you put the incorrect location on the summons
It's
on
possible
every
I may have-
violation?
It's possible I may have transposed one number.
On each
On every violation, every location is the wrong address.
That pre-populates with each charge in our
You
system.
should have done the due diligence of putting the correct
You should have put the correct address. You're trying to summons me for
18,000.
18,000 for wrong, incorrect,
Doing
what is that, incorrect doing of a VIN number, and you got incorrect doing of every violation.
That is my correctly moved to have this dismissed.
So I motion to have this dismissed for that reason.
Any response, Ms. Chong?
Your Honor, I would object to, with regards to the motion to dismiss.
Correct.
Your Honor, I would object to the motion to dismiss. Investigator Potts has indicated that it was a typographical error. As the judge saw the invoice.
Well,
Hang on,
If I may.
Ms. Fernandez.
And Your Honor, if the invoice was handwritten, so there is a world of possibility that that could have been misinterpreted and copied down wrong. I do not believe that Mr. Potts had any ill intent in copying that address down wrong. And I do believe that staff's case here has proven by preponderance of the evidence that the violations, the content of the violations have been proven. So we would object to the motion to dismiss.
Okay, Ms. Fernandez, you starting to say something there. Do you want to say something more?
no.
Okay. I'm not going to grant that motion now, but I'm going to take that under consideration as to whether I assess a penalty on this case or not. So I'm not going to rule on that quite yet. I'm going to let the case continue. And I'm not quite sure if that creates a fatal flaw or not. And so I'll let the case continue and I'll determine whether I believe that does. Some of the allegations don't necessarily relate to that address, the failure to have insurance.
All but
failure to have
one.
permit. The permit and the insurance wouldn't necessarily relate to that address. So I'm not going to dismiss everything now, but I'll take that into consideration. That might be something that does have some significance later. So does that make, do you understand what I'm saying? Make sure I understand, Mr. Manis.
And Your Honor, staff would request to have an opportunity to brief the issue to aid in Your Honor's consideration, if that's the case.
And we'll see. I'll decide yet. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to grant that motion yet. But I'm not denying it yet either. So I might see it as a defense. Like I said, I see it potentially as a defense to the charges.
And to clarify then, are you, we won't be able to brief the issue?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Bring it up. I would, let me see how the hearing goes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not making any ruling on that particular issue quite yet. Okay, Ms. Fernandez, do you have anything further for Investigator Potts?
Exhibit 107.
Exhibit 107.
That's the video again, so it's just going to take me a second to get it loaded. Let me know once I share it on the screen, let me know when you're ready for me to play it.
Is there any particular part of that video that you want to ask Investigator Potts about, or you just want to play it again, or what?
The beginning when you were summoned.
The beginning when I was summoned.
Okay, well, let's just play it again, and then you can ask any questions that you have after that. Okay. Or if there's a point where you want to stop, just say that.
Right there. I just wanted a chance for you to see him throw it out the window. He didn't even give me a chance or ask me to sign it. He just threw it out the window.
Those practices?
Are you aware of those practices?
Is that question directed at me?
I think it is.
That is drop service, and drop service is effective service.
So throwing it at me is a drop service?
Correct.
He didn't even get out the vehicle. He literally threw it at me.
I was not present when
I
you were
didn't sign it.
served.
He didn't even ask.
The video shows that he threw it. How can you?
Yeah, it was thrown at me out the window, so how could I even sign it if you didn't even give me a
They
chance?
said you refused to sign it. You're saying you weren't given the opportunity to.
He's saying I refused to sign
Who
it,
am I
but he
answering
just
questions?
at me.
Who's asking the questions and who am I answering them to?
They're kind of both. What I'm going to actually ask Mr. Fernandez is that you can kind of either whisper softly or write them down, because it also creates kind of an issue for my court reporter. 'Cause-
Thank you.
okay.
No
Would you
further
like to
questions?
repeat your question?
No more questions?
No.
Okay. All right. Investigator Potts, I got just a couple things I want to ask you. I have a question. I don't know if how this would work. You testified that, to your knowledge, they have not gotten insurance. If they did not have a permit, would you be notified that they had insurance?
We're notified when their insurance carrier cancels their policy, and as soon as their insurance is no longer in effect, their permit is inactive at that point.
But if they got insurance after that, you wouldn't be aware of it.
That is correct.
Okay. And then and the invoice, and we don't have to pull that up. It lists the 6265 West 52nd Street or Avenue. And you state that it was the storage facility. How did you come to determination that that is a storage facility?
The complainant told me that that is the location where he went to go pick up his vehicle and that it was the tow yard. The sheriff's department also advised me that that's where they perform service at the defendant's or the respondent's tow yard.
Okay. And then one of the things that you asked for was the removal of all signage. There was one sign that was at one location, and I didn't write down where, but I'm sure the transcript will tell me, are there other signs that you believe that are out in various cities in the area?
I know that there are multiple signs posted at that location. However, I'm unaware of any other contracts that the respondent may have. But I would ask that if they do have signage up in other areas of the city, that be removed until they have a permit.
Okay, but you don't know of any other locations?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. All right. I believe that's all I have. Ms. Chong, do you have any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, go right ahead.
And can we please pull up hearing exhibit 100, the CPAN? Investigator Potts, on cross, we heard some questions about the place of violation, and it was copied down wrong. Is that correct?
It looks like that's the case.
And was that a simple typographical error?
As I'm looking at my keyboard now, the 6 is directly above the 3, and I perhaps transposed that number or hit the 6 by accident.
Okay. And if we can scroll down to the violation, starting with number 1. And violation number 1, it has to do with maintaining an address in the system, correct? In the IFM system, correct?
That is correct.
So there's not a physical location where this violation occurred. It happens in the system.
That's correct. It could be any address that the carrier is using to store vehicles.
Okay. And then with regards to violation numbers 3 through 10, all of these violations have to do with the invoice themselves, right?
That is correct.
And defects within the invoice.
That is correct.
So the issue with these violations have to do with the paper document, correct?
That is correct.
And where the violation occurred is not really a consideration since it is a paper document where the defects occurred, correct?
That's correct. The document could have been prepared at any address and then taken to the storage facility.
Okay. So when you're looking at those violations, you are focusing on the 4 corners of the document of the invoice themselves, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's no violation to suggest that the location of the of where the violation occurred is a consideration with these violations, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And with regards to violation number 11, that's failure to maintain and file evidence of financial responsibility, correct?
That is correct.
And maintaining the evidence of financial responsibility with the PUC is something that occurs within the system, correct?
That is correct.
So the PUC is able to track whether each towing carrier has proof of financial responsibility via the documents that respondents or insurance carriers submit, correct?
Correct.
So it's not a violation that happens at a physical address per se, correct?
That is correct. This is vehicle insurance.
Okay. And with violation number 12, operating and or offering to operate as towing carrier in interstate commerce without first having obtained a permit. Having a permit is a requirement for towing carriers, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you must have a permit if you put yourself out to be a towing carrier, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's not something that occurs at a particular address. It's an administrative issue that a towing carrier carries a permit, correct?
That is correct.
And in this case, we heard testimony from you that Hooked and Book Towing is offering to operate as a towing carrier, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that they did, in fact, operate as a towing carrier.
Correct.
But the issue was not that they were necessarily operating, it was that they did it while not having a permit.
That is correct.
Thank you. And we can pull this exhibit down. And Your Honor, if I may have just a second to confer with my co-counsel.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Staff has no further questions and we rest.
Okay, right, Mr. Potts, you may turn off your video, you may hang out, you may do it as you wish there. But I thank you for your testimony. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everything. Yeah. And so you have no further witnesses, Ms. Chong? Is that correct?
No, Your Honor.
All righty. Ms. Fernandez. So now the case is in your hands. Now you can call any witnesses you want. You can call yourself. You can call anyone else and present any evidence that you have. All right.
Okay, I called my husband, Mr. Fernandez.
I'm going to tell you one thing, and I do this in cases like this real quickly. You're not obligated to testify or do anything like that. And, realize there's a transcript that's being made. So keep that in mind for anything else that might be out there. I don't want you to do anything which might complicate your world and other proceedings or matters. Okay. Like I say, so you're not required to testify, but if you want to, can, and you want to call your husband, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Fernandez, I can't see you, but I'm going to trust you on this one. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Fernandez, and again, it's questions. So you're going to be asking him questions and he's got to answer. So, all right.
And it's to Mr. Potts?
No, this is you. You are the witness. Mr. Fernandez. Ms. Fernandez is asking you questions.
Oh, I thought you.
It's your witness. It's a witness that you're bringing up to bolster or to bolster your case or to hurt their case.
Give us just a second. Sorry.
Sure, no problem. No, it's hey, hopefully you're not used to this sort of thing. So as I say, any questions like that, I want to make sure that you understand what we're doing and what's the best thing for you to do.
So to be honest, we weren't in full knowledge of what's going on, so we're discussing that real quick. So I do apologize.
Don't worry about it. And that's why I always say you can ask me questions. I want to make sure you understand what's going on. And especially when we're in this virtual atmosphere, it gets even stranger. So yeah, take 5 minutes and figure out what you want to do. Again, like I say, it's your opportunity to call witnesses and testify to what you believe to help your case or to hurt their case.
So that's what we were under the impression, but I was just trying to give my side of what I knew or how things transpired. I wasn't sure that I had to ask Miss Fernandez the questions or something of that.
She's got to ask you the questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 1 second. Alrighty, so apparently we have nothing else. I guess though I wasn't sure how this proceeding was. I thought I could just speak my side and not have Miss Fernandez ask me questions. So she's elaborating that she has nothing further to ask me or nothing to ask me.
Yeah, and just to explain to you, she's the one that's technically she's the owner. She's the one that the CPAN's against. So and so she has to call witnesses, and it's her case. She's the respondent in the case. So you have nothing more. Okay, Ms. Chong, you have a rebuttal case? I got a feeling you probably don't have a rebuttal case after that, since there's nothing to rebut.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, that being the case, Ms. Chong, do you still want to write anything up? And do you want to submit something concerning the issue of the incorrect violation place or not?
If the court believes that it would benefit the court, the staff would like to submit a brief.
If you'd like to, I don't have a problem with it. That's fine. How long do you need?
I'd say I'm at a training all next week, so if we could make it October 25th.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. And so Ms. Fernandez, what this means, what I'm going to do, there's this issue about the violation address being incorrect, and so the staff has asked whether they can write something up, just a memorandum of law, to tell me why it doesn't matter. you have that opportunity as well too. If you want to look stuff up, if you want to file something until, what do we say, October 25th, did you say? Did you say
Yes, October 25th.
Okay, so I'm not sure, I don't have my calendar up, so I don't know what day of the week that is. But you have the opportunity to file anything you want to in response to that, to say why I should dismiss the case, why you think that's a fatal flaw in this case, that incorrect address. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any questions? Okay, Ms. Chong, I'll start with you. Are there any questions, anything I'm forgetting to do or think I need to do?
Nothing further from staff.
Okay, Ms. Fernandez, how about you? Is there anything? That's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this matter under advisement. I'll wait. I'm certainly not going to issue a decision until after the 25th, when I get whatever is filed by the parties. And they're not required to. They're not required to file anything. So don't worry about that. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I'll give the opportunity to do that. And then there'll be an
How would she, Your Honor? Sorry. Am I able to ask, how is she able to file anything?
I'm sorry, repeat I missed the first part. You don't plan on it.
How is she able to, yeah, just the proceedings or what she needs or what's the process?
Well, you have the proceeding number and go into our e-filing system and sign up, and you can do it there. If you go into our e-filing system and register and file something in this proceeding. Okay,
Understandable.
so you understand? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, but and say you can do that. I'll take it under advisement. So 30 to 45 days after the 25th, whatever that would be. Hopefully holidays won't get in the way, but I'll try and get a decision out at that time. All right. Last chance, Ms. Chong, anything more?
Nothing further from staff.
All right. Ms. Fernandez, anything more?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Again, Mr. Potts, thank you very much once again for your testimony. I do appreciate that. But I have nothing further on there. Thank you everyone for being here. Thanks for everyone working to make sure that we could get this proceeding done and getting over technological issues. I do appreciate that. And everybody have a good weekend.
Thank
And
you.
we're in adjournment. Thank you.
Thank you.